Cobra are saying this is their most adjustable driver to date. So we're going to explain why that is, and not only that, but how you can adjust it to your style of play.
Now, make sure you stick around to the end, because this man here is going to be putting this driver to its very extremes.
Now, getting fit for a driver is, I think we can both agree, incredibly important. Now, you were also on the Cobra trip.
I was.
So I had the first-hand experience. But what was one thing that kind of stood out to you with, obviously, that new driver?
I mean, the first thing that stands out is the adjustability. We're going to talk about it just now. The hosel in this is something I've never seen before, and I don't think anyone else on the trip had seen anything like it either.
Yeah.
So.
This thing has a lot of options. How many settings does this have?
33 settings.
33 settings is pretty insane, shall we
Yeah,
say. That's quite a lot, but very beneficial, isn't it?
Yeah, massively beneficial. I mean, the easiest way to explain it is that with the standard hosel that you have here, when you loft up your driver, that's going to change the lie angle on it. Now that could, depending on whether you're taking the loft up or down, it's going to send the ball right or left, which is not what golfers want, and probably a lot don't realise. So with the new hosel, we can decouple, which is the key word here, the loft and lie off this driver. So you can loft it up or loft it down, and you're not going to change the lie angle.
That's pretty important, because especially if you once you get fit, like a lot of people do, you'll get put into a certain spec, and then when you go get lessons or something like that, that can completely change. However, when you have that kind of adjustability in that hosel, that's going to be hugely beneficial, because you can pretty much change it back to neutral, see where you then obviously need to kind of move it to.
Yeah, exactly. When I went to get fit, the first thing you do is put the driver into A1. We're going to get into positions and where the hosel goes in a minute. But A1 is neutral. Hit some shots from there, see where the ball's going, and then from there you can kind of work out what setting you're going to need. So as much as it's 33, you're never going to go through all 33 settings to find the one, or if you do, then something's wrong. But you shouldn't be going through all of those. You should really look to 3 or 4, find which one's going to work for you. But like say if you go for a lesson 6 months down the line and you change something in your swing, you want to change it back, then it is easy to go and adjust the driver to what you're doing.
Magic. Well, we've got 3 of the models here today, so shall we give them a hit?
Let's give them a hit.
Let's give them a hit.
All right, now, before we go and hit, I know you're eager to go and hit the driver, but you asked for things that stood out, and one thing that we didn't actually mention is here, you might have noticed, is a little QR code. I've never seen that in a driver before.
I've never seen that ever. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
but what does that QR code do?
Well,
Lewis?
it is very important. So when you get your new Dark Speed Adapt driver, if you scan here, you'll get a screen like this. This might look confusing, but I promise it isn't. Once you start hitting shots, it'll all make sense. Basically, if your ball is going through, let's say, the G3 window, which is straight and low, then you're going to want to pick something on the chart that is at the opposite end of that.
C7.
But you're going to want to start in A1 for neutral setting to start off with, see where the ball's going, and then this will all become clear after we hit some shots.
That's pretty interesting. So, yeah, let's go hit some shots. Let's start at A1 and see how we need to adjust this brand new Cobra Adapt driver. All right, so, Lewis, you're going to be our test dummy. He's going to hit some shots. You've got the X in hand.
I do.
Set on A1, handicap of?
4.
Okay. 4.
It's 4. I don't know why I said as if I wasn't. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, 4 is 4.
So what kind of shot do you normally kind of see on the course and on the range?
On the course, usually fairly straight, but struggle to get height out of it, which I know is coming from not swinging it great at the moment, but yeah, a little bit low and could do with a bit more launch, shall we say.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Just as described.
So little low, 28 feet in the air is not very high, as we know. Spin rate's good though. Carry, obviously you crank that up with a little bit of height, you're gonna get a better carry distance on that as well. Sounded solid.
Yeah, better swing.
All right, better swing, a little bit more carry, better height, but still we need to get it a little bit higher. So what I would say with you, so we're going from A1, we need a little bit more height. Don't need to straighten it out too much. I would probably say let's try you in the C8. Sounded clean.
Decent enough strike.
Carry's already improved.
Yeah.
Distance is 5 yards further, I'd say.
Yeah.
Spin's good, speed's good. But you've ended up pretty much being bang on C8 just in that one change.
That's true. Yeah, it's gone through exactly the window.
It's gone to exactly where we've adjusted it to. So you might actually just be bang on C7.
Yeah, like I say, I would usually play a 10.5 degree head. So that's taking that up to a little bit of draw bias and up to 10.5.
Yeah.
So it does make sense.
All right, so sticking it in that C7 setting, it's going to give him the highest loft possible.
Thank you.
With standard lie. So it's going to be 2 degrees up on top of your 9 degrees, so that'll be 11 degrees of loft.
Good maths. Tees flying about the place.
I know, fire in the hole.
That's a decent shot though.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. So, better height,
Yeah.
slightly higher launch angle, good descent angle, good spin, good numbers. 209, longest carry of the day, 243 total.
The big one for me is height. That's something I've always struggled with.
Yeah.
Growing up in Scotland, you kind of get used to wanting to hit the ball low in the wind. So when it's a flat day, that's not really what you're wanting. So to get a bit more height is definitely good. And you can see if it's carrying a bit further, then even better.
Yeah. All right, so I'm now going to push this to its absolute limits. I've got the LS in my hand, which I really enjoyed the dark speed last year in the LS. Goes like an absolute missile. But with all this adjustability, can we push it a little bit further? Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? So we've got it in the A1 setting standard. Now, I'm someone who will predominantly hit quite a high ball flight. So this is on 9 degrees, so this is probably about 1.5 degrees to maybe 2.
Okay.
A little bit higher than what I'm used to. A little fade. That's the kind of shape I'll probably try. But if I was trying to step on one,
Right, come on then, let's see it.
it's a little bit like, if it's a wide open par 5, you just want to feel a little bit open. Yeah,
Nice shot.
something like that.
Very nice. We'll round that up to 350 carry.
Probably a little bit on the high side. I reckon if it was a little bit lower, I'd probably get a little bit more carry out of that.
Your ball flight is going through C7. Now, because you like to see a little fade, you don't really want to mess with that too much. So
Just straight down to G3.
straight down to G3, see what happens with that. All right, and while James is clicking the driver into place, that was good.
There we go, good time.
Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that you don't miss any of the driver reviews coming up. See how the rest of them compare to the Dark Speed Adapt. Speaking of that, you've now got it in G3.
Got it in G3.
So that has taken 2 degrees off your loft.
So 7 degrees.
7 degrees.
So in theory, we've got an absolute rocket launcher. I got a little left. No, it's just gone miles.
Yeah, well, it's taken height off. It's taken about 30 feet off height.
Yeah.
And it's gone about 10, 15 yards further. I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, 354 carry. But the number I'm looking at is height.
Yeah, the height's a little bit lower, isn't it?
I mean, you had one in A1 that was over 200, well over 200. Now you've hit a good one there, which has gone 165. That's much more manageable.
And a little bit low in the face as well.
Yeah, so you'd maybe expect that to spin more and go a bit higher, but honestly, like 165 is great.
I'll take that.
You're always going to hit it high.
Yeah.
There's nothing, unless you're putting it down to about 5 degrees, which you're never going to want to do, but take that all day. Total 370.
It's a long way to try and control that. Like, I'd be happy with that, or just seeing that slight little fade. Like, it's going to keep me in play.
Yeah.
Ball speeds are nuts. Like, even off a slight hit off the bottom of the face, it's very impressive what they've done. So this is incredibly impressive. The adjustability is really good, but what other kind of tech can we expect from these drivers, Lewis?
Yeah, so the first thing that we've come to expect it from Cobra for a long time, but aerodynamic shaping. So particularly in the LS that you've got here, This, you're going to see, if you put it up against the old Dark Speed, you're going to see subtle changes that are just going to help it fly through the air a little bit better. So it is a little bit longer heel to toe, which is going to help with forgiveness, but at the back, a little bit more aerodynamic, so it's going to help you, swing it a little bit faster, which we all want. And, you can see power bridge. If you've got a Cobra driver in the bag or you've had one before, you're going to be familiar with this tech. But there's just slight improvements throughout it that are going to help. You've got the hot face here too, which is going to help with forgiveness. Got plenty of sweet spots throughout the face here. But one thing that I do really like is the looks on the face. So spoke to some of the guys behind the design and the driver, and basically said that with the original Dark Speed, there's no real detail on the face. So when you are swinging, it's difficult to kind of see loft on the face. I think this laser etching here is really going to make a big difference. So that personally, I found that you could actually see.
Yeah, that's what I said when I was hitting it. It's like straight away, it was quite easy to obviously, center the ball up on the club face, because it is subtle, but you can see it. It just makes it that little bit easier. But yeah, really impressed with obviously what Cobra have to offer this year. The adjustability in the hosel, obviously with the adjustable weighting in the LS, and obviously the X as well. Not only that, we've obviously got LS, X, Max D, but there's also the 10K model as well.
Max K, so this is something that Cobra are really excited about. If you're someone who maybe gets the ball out the toe one day, out the heel the next day, it's going to be the driver for you, because Cobra are getting on the 10K wagon.
They're jumping on the bandwagon.
Yes, rightly so, because it works. A lot of people need it. Absolutely.
And on that note, I would highly recommend giving these a try. I've been really impressed with the adjustability in this, and the Cobra brand new Dark Speed Adapt is definitely one that you should try. I've been James from Bunkered.
I've been Lewis from Bunkered.
And we'll see you next time.